Hey there, people. Welcome to the Fit for 90 podcast. I am your host, Kanan Bandel, non-league footballer and strength and conditioning coach. Today, I want to speak about the three physical qualities separating average players from the ones that dominate every single preseason going into the new season. One of the biggest mistakes I see players make is thinking that football is only technical. And don't get me wrong, technical ability matters massively, but two players that have the exact same technical ability can be physically worlds apart. One player could dominate for 90 minutes, the other probably fades about 60th minute. One looks sharp every single week, the other one is constantly carrying knocks and niggles. They've got the same technical ability, but the physical capabilities are very, very different. One, over time, performs at a higher level and he actually moves up levels, he moves up leagues, the other one stays stuck. And usually, from what I've seen, the difference comes down to three physical qualities. The first is strength. Now, when I say strength, I don't mean bodybuilding strength. I mean usable football strength. Strength that helps you win 50-50s, that helps you to hold players off, that keeps you balanced when you're dribbling with the ball when you're defending, that allows you to accelerate better, that reduces your injury risk. A stronger and more robust player is also going to generally feel more confident physically when they're on the pitch. And confidence changes how you play, how you perform, just the way you operate on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis. Now, a lot of players are training like bodybuilders. They're training the wrong way. They're doing a lot of pump work. They're doing like random training drills. There's no like progression on what they're doing week to week. A lot of them use machines as like their main training focus, which isn't a bad thing. Like machines can be good for a beginner because it creates a lot of stability for exercises. But for a lot of non-league lads, they're using the machine just to get a pump, just to make the biceps bigger or make the triceps bigger or get that chest a bit more pumped. Football is a sport where your strength has to transfer from just being strong in the gym. You also have to be able to express that really, really quickly. And that's where you get things like plyometrics and speed development and power development, almost bridge that gap between your strength in the gym and then how you actually perform on the pitch. Because otherwise, the strongest lads in the gym will also be super strong on the pitch, but we know that's not how it works. Gym strength really, it means nothing if when you cross that white line, you can't express it. And this is where I see a lot of players go wrong. So number one is strength. If you're training like a bodybuilder at the moment, you've got to change your ways. That doesn't mean you can't look good, and it doesn't mean you can't still work on your biceps, or you can't work on your rear delts, or you can't work on your traps. Like, that's fine. You can still do that. But the starts of your session, you need to be having plyometric work in there. You need to be having some power development work in there. You need to be getting out to sprint 1 to 2 times a week. You need to make sure that the split across the week is structured in a way, your training split across the week is structured in a way that it doesn't take away from your football, because you're showing up to football, I say, 2 days after a leg day, absolutely beat up because you can't walk. That's what I mean when we talk about bodybuilding training. Number 2 is your ability to sprint repeatedly. This one I see separates players massively, because football isn't just one sprint and then you jog around for the rest of the game. It's repeated explosive efforts over and over and over and over again for a series of 90 minutes, for an hour and a half. Now, the best players, the most athletic players, they recover quickly between these high intensity efforts. The average players will make 3 or 4 sprints and then they're done for the next 5 to 10 minutes. They're just recovering. It's survival mode. A lot of players really misunderstand fitness and football fitness. A lot of players think, oh yeah, I can run for ages, I'm fit. But football fitness isn't long distance running. It's your ability to recover, to sprint, to then recover and then sprint again. Not to mention the technical side of the game and the cognitive side of things, where you have to be aware of your position. You have to focus on the tactical side of things, being aware of who's around you. It's a chaotic environment. There's so many things going on. But when you're not fit, when the legs go, you can't focus on anything else apart from how tired you are. I've had it myself many, many times, especially when I wasn't fit. I'll play well for about 45 minutes, maybe get to about 55th, 60th minute. And then I'm just like, right, I'm just thinking about how tired I am now. And then the performance just drops off drastically because you can't express yourself how you want to. And often that comes down to not being able to sprint repeatedly. So having strength is important, but also having that repeated sprintability is vital from a fitness standpoint, from a conditioning standpoint, for you to be able to last for 90 minutes. And the third one, believe it or not, is actually recovery. I think this gets ignored constantly. Recovery is the glue really that holds everything together. Now, when I talk about recovery, I'm not talking about going into an ice bath or going downstairs to jump on the foam roller. I'm talking about sleep and I'm talking about nutrition. If you sleep badly, if you fuel badly, if you're constantly carrying fatigue, your body's never going to adapt. Because you don't improve when you train, you improve when you recover from training. And you can only get fitter, stronger, faster, better from the training that you recover from. I say this all the time to my players. And I've started looking at rest days as growth days. So instead of training like an absolute madman every single day, I look at my training week and say, okay, where can I put my growth days in so that I actually grow, get stronger, get fitter? Because when I started looking at it, when I reframed it as a growth day rather than a rest day, I really started treating it with more respect. Because before I was thinking like rest days, like that's for the week. Who does that? Get up at 4 a.m., go training. I did that for years. But you get to a point where you're not making progress, you're burning out, you're not actually getting fitter, you're just constantly carrying knocks, niggles, and fatigue. And it gets to a point where you have to recognize, okay, I can only get fitter and stronger and faster. I can only get better from the training that I recover from. So I need to start adding more recovery days in. I need to start adding more growth days in. Because when your body feels good, everything changes. You demand the ball more when you're on the pitch. You sprint more willingly. It doesn't become a chore. You compete harder. You're stronger in the air. You're stronger on the ball. And you trust yourself physically. You can do things that when you're not fit, you start to question, can I make that run? Or I don't know if I should, maybe should I go out for this corner or should I just sit in? If it breaks down, I've got to make that run back in. You start asking yourself these things on a football pitch. I've been there myself. But so many players underestimate how much physical confidence, having your confidence in your physical ability, your physical capabilities, how much that affects your football confidence on the pitch, your ability to go and demand the ball, do things with the ball. The frustrating thing is a lot of players, they kind of already know where they're struggling. They know that they fade in late in games. They know they're probably carrying too much body fat. They know they're weak physically. They know that they've got niggles that they need to address. But awareness without action changes nothing. The saying that I would say, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? And the truth is that the game right now, I mean, it's 2026 at the time of recording this, the game's getting faster. The game's getting more physical. It's more demanding. Footballers nowadays, really, you've got to be an athlete before you're a footballer in a way. And the players who treat kind of their strength and conditioning almost like a side thing, like maybe I'll do that later or I'll do it sporadically or half-heartedly, you get left behind. In the next 2, 3, 4 years, you'll 100% get left behind because players are getting sharper, they're getting fitter, they're more switched on with what they need to be doing. And if you're a player who knows what you need to be doing, but you're not actually doing it, you're going to be in serious trouble in the next couple of years. So if you're serious about improving this season, you have to ask yourself honestly, like, are you physically preparing at the level that your ambition for the season coming up requires? Your talent still matters. 100% still take care of the technical side of the game. That's important. But talent without the physical preparation, it only gets you so far. If you want help bridging that gap properly with the right structure, the right accountability, and a system that's been built for football performance, we currently have our preseason blueprint open, in which we're taking only 5 players for this one. I always like to coach deep, not wide, and it's the reason why we only take on 3 to 5 players at any given time for our intakes. The preseason blueprint is a system, a structure that you can plug in around team training. It's strength focused, it's power focused, it's speed focused. It's going to bridge the gap between what you do in the gym, how you perform on the pitch. Within 6 weeks, we're going to help you to do it so that when the season starts, you are a completely different animal. If you want more details, just comment somewhere around this video pre-season. I'm going to send you all the details. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a good one.